The minor league stolen base king is joining us from the other side of the world out there in Tokyo. How's it treating you, Chandler? It's been awesome to watch what you did this whole year. Amazing to see you guys rally and win your way over to that really long flight. How are you adjusting to Tokyo out there, and what's the experience been like so far?
Yeah, no, it's been amazing. It's been great. Like, it's crazy being out here and seeing how they live. Like, they got different rules out here. Like, you can't eat while walking or drink while walking, or you can't stand up, or you can't look at your phone on the trains and buses, things like that. So, and then communicating, ordering food and stuff is different. Google Translate. So, yeah, it's been crazy, but I mean, it's been a fun experience so far.
Now, when you were at like a Fairfield Inn type place in Biloxi, Mississippi, or like Greensboro, North Carolina, were you thinking your year was going to end in Tokyo or no chance?
If you would have told me I was gonna be in Tokyo at the end of the year, I'd have been like, "You're insane, no way." But I mean, we're here now, and man, it's been a blessing for sure.
it, it's amazing to see the road that baseball takes everybody on. Sorry, Arm, but like, it's one of those where I feel like at the beginning of this year, you could never imagine the type of year that you just put up. Obviously the stolen base crown, you hit well over 300, like well over. When did you kind of understand that this had the makings of a special year? Was it a month in? Was it, hey, spring training, I feel like I'm primed for a big one?
Honestly, I would say it was from opening day. Opening night, I went like, I mean, I don't want to like toot my own horn, but I
No,
went
that's why
like
you're
three for
here.
three. Yeah, I went like 3 for 3 with three bags, and I mean, I had set out to get 100 bags. Like I was talking about the whole off season, everybody knew what it was coming to spring training, coming to the season, and then I feel like that just was like it made a huge statement at the beginning of the year, and then when that happened, I was like, okay, this is gonna be good. I just gotta take it day by day at that point. So.
So setting that goal for yourself, obviously a really lofty one, but one that, after seeing what you did last year as well, seemed very attainable. How often were you kind of checking in on that? Or did you just know that, I'm going to hit well over 300. I'm going to get enough opportunities to steal bags. It's going to happen. Or did you kind of look in maybe at the end of each month and say, okay, how am I doing in terms of my pace? Like, am I still on this 100 stolen base pace? Were you doing like math and everything to try to figure out kind
Yeah,
of where you were tracking?
yeah, most definitely. Like my goal was to get like 4 bags or more every week. And I feel like if I did that, then that would put me at a really good standing. And then I was checking in on because MILB Central does like posts, like weekly posts for the stolen base charts. I mean, he does home runs and all that too, but he does stolen base too. So I would check in on the weekly post or whatever week we was on till last year. So I'm like, okay, where was I at last year, and then where am I at right now? And then I'm like, okay, the pace is above right now. I'm on pace for 100, woo woo. So I was definitely doing the math every week trying to get four more. So if I didn't get four, then I'm like, if I got like one or two, I'm like, all right, bet. So I got to get like six, seven next week. So
I love that. And that just reminded me actually, because Chase does an awesome job on that account. I think it's
yeah,
just amazing how he keeps everybody up to date with what's going on in the minor leagues. He also posted that it was your birthday yesterday. So
yeah,
happy birthday. Actually, would be 2 days
thank you.
ago, I guess, for you now.
Yeah.
What was it like celebrating your 24th birthday out there in
Yeah.
Tokyo?
Yeah, so actually I was on a plane ride when like we got on a plane, I think the 17th, and then we landed, it was the 18th, but it was the 17th in the US. So people was telling me happy, like my teammates were telling me happy birthday here, but like nobody knew back home. So I didn't post about my birthday until it was 12 o'clock AM in the US. So basically I had a 48-hour birthday, like
Oh, hell
so
yeah.
yeah, so it was smooth.
It's a lot better than going backwards and skipping the birthday,
Yeah,
entirely
sure.
or going the other
Yeah.
way. But man, I mean, it was so much fun to watch that hunt all year long. And much like you, I was doing the MILB Central check-in, and I was looking at the portal and seeing the stolen base leaders and all that. And like for you to have your own year previously as a measuring stick has to be so much fun. Like knowing that you can replicate and take 2023 and build on that. Not a lot of minor leaguers get that opportunity to like take a really good year and try and improve that within the minor league ranks as well. So, did you set out with any other like numerical goals aside from the bags? Was it I want to hit 300, I want to K, less than 10% of the time?
Yeah, aside for the 100 bags, I wanted to hit 350 or more. I did write that down and I wanted to get on base. I mean, it was probably really extreme, but I wanted to get on base at least half the time that I came up to the plate, just because I know that has to be one of my great tool I have to make an impact in the big league. So those things for sure I had to hit, got to get on base. I wanted
So
to score like 100 runs as well. So.
Were you disappointed to have only gotten on base well over a 400 clip? I mean, that's
Oh,
I love the lofty goals, but it seems like you kind of put it in a way where it's, some people the numbers kind of stress them out, or they want to have attainable goals. But for you, it seems like shooting for the stars, and if you get close enough, you had a good year and you're chasing after something that is really hard to attain. Does that
yeah.
fuel you a little bit more than maybe like just having those more attainable goals and building up from there?
Well, I feel like in the game that I play, I mean, like I feel like the numbers really gonna have to be there just because I don't show the power that really jumps out to you. So I feel like the other things like getting on base, the average, the scoring runs, stealing bases is gonna have to jump off the page. So, and I feel like if I stick to my game, know I am, then I mean, I feel like I can attain those extreme goals that I set. So,
you were teammates with a lot of guys that leveled up this year in like their own unique ways. And we just talked to Carson a couple weeks ago, and like Carson leveled up in his own unique way. And Xavier Isaac, like his version of a good year could not look more different than your version of a good year. Same with Trey Morgan, but you guys all had phenomenal years. Were you guys like pushing yourselves and pushing each other when you were sharing a clubhouse in like your own unique way? Even though I'm sure Xavier Isaac is not giving you any pointers on how to take
Mhm.
second base.
Yeah. No, yeah, the whole year we were all pushing each other, like especially me and X have been together since the complex, like since we got drafted. So we always pushing each other. Then Trey came in because Carson like was a year before us. So he's always been at a higher level than us in previous years. But once we all got to double A, I mean, it was all like we all communicating, just telling each other to finish the year strong and then just keep going because we all know that the organization wanted us to play together because hopefully that's in the near future in the big league. So, yeah, I mean, just with Trey coming up, because when Trey came to high, the first week he was there, he won player of the week. So I'm like, okay, well, I guess you don't need high no more. Then he came to double A, first week, won player of the week. I was like, okay, so you ready for the big leagues then. You don't even need double A, huh? So and then Carson getting the 2030 and then X doing what he did, having a phenomenal year. I mean, it was great with all of us. So.
What stands out to me with you on the offensive side of things is, I mean, how consistently you can make contact. It's not just inside of the zone. When we were breaking down the Rays system, one of the things that I think stood out among everything is also your ability to make contact outside of the zone. I think it just overall spoiling tough pitches, kind of getting to anything. 82% out of zone contact is better than a lot of guys in zone contact. And then within the zone, you're at 94%. What is it that like allows you to just be so good bat to ball wise? Is it this, God given hand eye coordination, or there's some things that you've worked on with your swing and your path? Like, how are you able to make so much freaking contact?
Yeah, I feel like it's God given for sure. But on top of that, just something that I work on, just looking at like I love Luis Arias and I look at him a lot and I not so much model my swing, but I do a lot of drills that help with my swing because like I want to be able to be as great as a hitter as him. So like just being able to keep my head down the ball and things like that and stay on balls and just be relentless at the plate, just knowing that I'm somebody that gotta get on base and I can't strike out a lot. So just making something happen at the plate. Make my speed work for myself.
So Aram mentioned the out of zone contact percentage and like how ridiculously high that is, and that mindset. I feel like that can be conducive to you swinging it whatever you feel like you can get to, because it's like, okay, if I put this ball in play, I've got a shot with how I
Mm.
move. How have you managed to stay disciplined through all of this as well, and you're taking your walks while also putting bat on ball whenever that bat leaves your shoulder, essentially?
Yeah. So, I mean, just knowing that walks is like a free throw. And I mean, I know that no pitcher wants to do that, but I mean, if I can take a walk, I mean, without swinging the bat, if I can get on base without swinging, then I mean, that's the greatest gift. So, just knowing that my approach is to stay on the left side of the field, which gives me the best chance to get on base, and to knowing that anything to the inside of part of the plate, I mean, if it's not two strikes, then I don't have to really take a hack at it most of the time unless it's 2-0, 3-1, something I'm trying to do damage on. But yeah, just staying disciplined to that and then just getting comfortable, building confidence as the season goes on, as you see more pitches.
there's one player that, yeah, it's probably because I grew up watching him and it's one of my childhood favorites, but that I keep thinking of every time I watch you play. I don't want to say it until you answer this question, and then I'll mention who it is. I'm sure you've probably got it before, but is there someone that you want, like, have wanted to model your game after? Because it's this throwback type of top of the order guy that we're kind of seeing come back into baseball again because the game went so far the other way, and it's so refreshing and fun. But like, is there a player that you've watched through the years that you wanted to model your play style after?
Yeah, so like growing up, I watched a lot of D Gordon, a lot of Billy Hamilton. I watched a lot of those two, and then recently from the hitting side, like Arise. Even though D Gordon was a great hitter because he got a batting title and he always hit above 300. So, but yeah, I watched a lot of D Gordon because I used to play in middle infield when I was in college. So just watching them, I still watch um their highlights, like because both of them stole. Billy stole 59, 2017, and then D stole 60. So like I watch all his highlights and then Arias recently for the hitting side. So D Gordon for sure, I say.
So then the name that always like pops up for me is Juan Pierre. I don't know if you've ever gotten
Yeah, I've
that,
heard that name
but
too.
that
I've
was like
heard that
he's my
name.
favorite
Yeah.
player growing up, and just watching the swing, watching the way you spray the ball all over, the way you move, the bunts too, right? The way JP would just lay it down in those spots. That's what
Right.
was fascinating to me is you in one of these Premier 12 games, 3-1 count. You laid one down. How often do you do something like that? Did you just feel like it was you knew a pitch was coming in that you could put down pretty easily? Was it something that you saw with the infield? Like we're going to ask you more about the Premier 12 games, but I just wanted to ask that because again, that was one of the other things I saw was like where no one's expecting you to bunt, you lay one down. That was something that JP did a ton of too. Is that something that you do a bunch? And what made you do it in that game?
Yeah, no, not necessarily 3-1. I'm usually taking a hack, but um right now, like with the Premier 12, I was just trying to do anything to get on base just because like like getting in scoring position, I feel like I'm in scoring position from first base. So but 3-1, like obviously, like the third baseman gonna be playing in all the time. 3-1, they backed up because I mean usually people taking a hack. So when he backed up, I was like, man, this would be a perfect time. So like as the ball was coming, I made the conscious decision of trying to bunt. Like I went from swing to bunt like as the ball was coming.
No
So
way.
so I just went ahead and laid it down and it worked out. So
Dude, so you just spurred a thought because obviously Juan Pierre did that, but you mentioned Billy Hamilton growing up, watching him and loving watching him. Have you heard the term Billy runs before? Like that was something that Reds fans and the Reds broadcast was using a lot. And like when Billy would, bunt his way aboard or like infield single and then steal second and then score on a ball that he has no business scoring on,
yeah.
the Reds fans used to call those Billy runs because like the only way it happens is if Billy Hamilton creates that himself.
Mhm.
You like there were so many Montgomery games that I tuned into this year, or even Bowling Green games where I was like, these are Billy runs here. Like you're just doing this, man. You mentioned you feel like you're in scoring position from first base. Did that confidence start when you were in college? Did that start when you were in little league? Like when did you feel that confident that if you got to first base you could make something happen?
I feel like it was in college. Like maybe like when I went to the Northwoods League, just know that's when my speed really took a big jump and the stolen bases and all that, and gained confidence in my legs and what I could do on the base path. So I say in college for sure, and then it's just carried on till this point. So
How was
yeah.
the Northwoods real quick? Because that's what 70 games or something in 75 days.
Yeah, it was crazy. But like it was like a pro season. So if you really wanted to play pro ball, you get to see you go there and you get to see if you really want to. So
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah, that'll weed you out, especially with the way the travel can be through there too.
Yeah.
But
And we were Wisconsin too. So
yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, I want to just the last thing on the base running, and then getting into the games that you guys had and being able to advance. You mentioned kind of seeing those wheels tick up in college and things like that. In terms of the base stealing as well, what are the things that you think, aside from just being insanely quick, that make you such a good base stealer? Because if it was just as simple as the fastest guys steal the most bags, you'd be able to predict every single year, who's going to lead the league. But there's a lot of different factors into it. What is it about you that allows you to be such a just dynamic and effective base stealer?
I feel like the number one key component is the relentlessness you have to have. Because I feel like if you think for a second about going back to the bag, like the next 90 feet is not going to happen. So just thinking about the 90 feet as being the next obtainable goal for you is what you have is the relentlessness and also being smart as well, knowing the situations, knowing the count, know who's up at the plate, know who's pitching, know who's catching, finding tips from time to time and things like that and technique and just knowing how to take the bag and how to take the next extra 90 feet. So
It's weird that I ask this because I feel like for pretty much everybody, the answer is yes, it matters, like how slow or how quick a pitcher is to home plate. Does it matter for you or no? Like, are you
yeah,
going to see a certain pop time and it's like, you know what, I can beat this. Like, I'm sure that competitor in you comes out and it's like, I don't care how
yeah.
fast he is.
No, yeah, it's definitely some pride for me that goes into it. But I also have to be realistic and got to be smart. So I say like 125, like I can get on a 125 depending on the catcher, but I feel like a 125 I can get there. Sure.
Yeah, it's pretty much stolen already if it's any higher than that, I feel like. So, and you already have what, five, six bags so far in this Premier 12. You guys started off a little bit slow, I think, relative to the expectations, and then you really kicked it into gear. I would imagine young guys just getting comfortable, kind of getting their feet wet. A lot of guys that kind of their first time playing in that environment. But for you, what was it like being able to, and like how much maybe easier did it make your job when you have somebody like Matt Shaw hitting behind you, doing what he's doing? Like, are you just going up there and saying, I just need to get on base for this guy? Because it seems like there's been that like correlation there where as he started to hit well, you've really taken off 7 hits in the last 2 games. Like, was there a mindset shift at all, maybe where it's like, I just got to get on base and now these guys are going to pick me up?
Yeah, most definitely. Matt Shaw, I call him Captain America. Like, I mean, he's been crazy the whole tournament. So definitely the mindset was literally just get on and then let him run the show. Like he can be Batman, I'll be Robin for sure. So as long as I get on base, I know that's a good chance that I can score from first. So yeah, it's been great hitting in front of him for sure.
What's this clubhouse been like for you guys? Obviously, you get out of Mexico, you guys, fly across the world to Tokyo here. You've got you and Matt Shaw and Justin Crawford and Tamara Johnson, but then you also have Rich Hill and Tuki Tucson and Dan Altavia. Like, there's this
Yeah.
weird eclectic group. Like, everybody is so different here. What has, the conversations been like for you with a guy like a Tuki Tucson or a Rich Hill? Guys that have been around and guys that have seen it at the big league level.
Yeah, it's been great. Like just knowing that Rich was in the big leagues when I was 3 years old, and it's like it's crazy. But yeah, Tukey is like basically been a big bro to like me, Mar, Justin Crawford, like just showing us the ropes and asking questions, giving us advice and things like that. Just knowing how to maneuver up through the minors and up to the majors, just because they've been there before. And then with Rich, we call him OG. Just what I'm saying, he's been there, but I mean he's a great dude as well. And it's just like it's showing us how we should treat younger guys when we become their age and they come up and how we supposed to treat them. So I mean they've been great.
Was there any kind of conversation out of the gate where you knew, okay, who will play? We're going to really have to kick it in gear. We might have to put up a ton of runs to, with the tiebreakers and all of that. Was there a point where it's like, okay, we got to really get this thing going? Or did you guys kind of have that calm, knowing how much talent you had, the combination of the guys that have been there, done that, and then the young, up and coming stars like yourself and several other guys? Like, did you feel a little bit of pressure, you think, as a team with a bit of the slow start, or did you know that you guys were going to turn it around and end up where you're at right now?
So at first, after the 1-0 loss to Puerto Rico, I think everybody was calm after that. I mean, we knew the talent we had, we knew the depth that we had pitching and hitting, so we were calm after that. Then we came back Netherlands, run ruled them, and then we lost to Venezuela, and I think that's really when the pressure kicked in because we knew that we couldn't lose another game, and we knew that we had to score runs just in case a tiebreaker were to come into the equation. So. The loss to Venezuela did put pressure on us, but I mean, we responded well, and evidently we made it. We made it to Japan. So
Yeah, you guys responded really well, and you just well, I saw the photos yesterday. You guys took batting practice at the Tokyo Dome and practiced in there.
yeah,
I
it's
mean,
crazy.
obviously you're going to see it with a packed house, but even an empty Tokyo Dome, Like, what was
Yeah.
that moment like for Chandler Simpson? Just the baseball person, like the kid that grew up playing on, whatever little league field, and then you go, play in the ACC and you make your way around Americana in the minor leagues.
Yeah, I mean, it was crazy. Like the kid in me, I was just looking around the stadium the whole time. When I first got in here, I was like, dang, this is where Shohei played at. Like, this is crazy. So, I mean, it's a lot of history there, and I see it on Instagram and TikTok all the time. Great Japanese players that come through there, but just to look around there and just to be thankful of where the game is taking me in the world, and just to soak it all in, and I'm gonna try to be in the moment every game.
I'm honestly not familiar dimensions wise or anything, but is it more spacious? Like, have you been looking out there in terms of like how it may play to your game? And the other side too is you're playing right field, which is
Yeah.
wild because yeah, it makes sense. Justin Crawford's playing center. Like you guys might be able to cover more ground than anybody in the world right now, any baseball team out there. Yeah, how do you think that guy that plays for your guys' ball club and just kind of getting a feel for the dimensions out there?
Yeah, no, I mean we got a lot of really good hitters with power, so and the ball really flies, so they'll be able to hit some home runs. The outfield is really big. So like if a ball gets in the gap or a lot of hustle doubles could be made, singles turn to doubles. But I mean, it gave me Tropicana vibes for sure because with the roof for how to you hit a fly ball, it kind of blends in with the roof a little bit. It's kind of hard to track, but yeah, it definitely gave me Trop vibes. But I feel like it'll be good for us for sure.
Yeah. Chandler, last one from me. Obviously, premier goal for you right now is to win this Premier 12 tournament. But, going into 2025, you're going to go to Big League Spring, I'm sure. Um, obviously you're going to look to perform in spring training. What are your goals for the 25 season? Is it something, external, like I want to make the show, or are there certain numerical, landmarks that you want to hit?
Yeah, so obviously want to get the call, God willing, to big league spring training, and then put on a good showing there, showing that what I can do, and show it with them just trading Jose Siri, just showing that I can make an impact on the big league team at some point in the year if it's not right off the bat. And I mean, I did have a number of having like at least 50 bags up there. Um, just for like statistical case, but just for me, but just making an impact and showing that I can help the team win and I can help them lead into the playoffs this next year. So
Got to ask you about a friend who we had on about probably almost a year ago. Time flies, but Victor Scott came on the show. We were talking probably at the end of last season, and he was
yeah.
mentioning kind of the friendly rivalry that you guys have from a stolen base perspective and things like that. Can you talk a little bit about your guys' relationship and obviously seeing him get an opportunity at the big league level last year? And was there anything that he shared with you from that experience? And just where are you guys at there? And how excited are you to potentially be competing with each other on stolen base numbers at the highest level?
Yeah, nah, Vic, that's my best friend. Like we met 2021 in Northwoods. We always had mutual friends because he's from the Atlanta area too, but I didn't meet him for real until 2021 Northwoods. From that point on, it's been history ever since. Like we always stayed in contact. Then went 2022 Cape Cod, played together. Got drafted in the same class. He obviously had a crazy year his first year in the minors, and when he got caught up, I was super praised. Like I got called up. So especially how it all went down, like him getting the call to the bigs on opening day, like a lot of stuff happened because he was going to AAA initially and then had some things happen. But I mean, like, and then he went Dodger Stadium first game. So yeah, I was just trying to tell him that he the man and give him all the confidence to perform. But I was super happy for him. He was showing, just telling me how it goes up there and how you have to perform and basically not to be on Twitter and stuff because they be saying a whole bunch of crazy
Yeah.
stuff on Twitter. But he was showing me the ropes. I mean, yeah, that's my best friend. So I mean, I talk to him like every day. So yeah, bet a lot of competition between us two for sure.
Yeah, he made that clear like when you guys were kind of going back and forth. And then I think there was a stat correction last year.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Double
So
steal. It was an error, and they took the 94 off. They took the 95 off. And when he told me, he was like, "Twin, I don't have 95. I got 94." I was like, "Damn, what?" But I was like, I was trying to be like, I felt bad for him, but I was like, "Ooh, okay, bet we tied. He ain't beat me."
There you go. I love that. Well, again, excited to watch you guys, compete at the highest level, and rack up those stolen bases. And it's been something that's been, just such a fun aspect that's been brought back to the game. And, with players like yourself, it's going to become, even more so the case. But even more excited in the short term to see you guys try to bring home the gold here in Tokyo, and wish you best of luck the rest of the way here. And we're excited to tune in. Thanks so much for the time, man.
Yeah, no, thank you guys. Appreciate y'all.